It's a really sad day, everyone, a truly sad day. We heard the news on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. The wonderful actor George Wendt passed away. He was 76 years young. Can you believe it? 76. It just feels like yesterday we were all gathering around our TVs waiting for him to walk into that famous bar. His family shared that he died peacefully. He was at home, in his sleep. That's a small comfort, knowing he was at peace. But still, it's a big loss. A really big loss for so many of us who felt like we knew him. George Wendt. What a name, what a talent. He brought so much joy into our living rooms. He made us laugh. He made us feel good. He was like that comfortable old friend you could always count on. For so many years, he was a constant presence, a familiar face, a voice that just made you smile. It's hard to imagine a world without his particular brand of humor and warmth. He wasn't just an actor, he was a part of our lives, wasn't he? He really, really was, and we're all feeling this one, deeply. The news came as such a shock. You know, you hear about people and you hope they'll be around forever, especially the ones who bring so much light. George was definitely one of those lights. His representative confirmed the news, and the outpouring of love has already been incredible. It just shows you how many lives he touched. From his family to his friends to all of us, his fans. He had this way about him, this approachable, down-to-earth quality that just drew people in. It's a rare gift. So today we're remembering George. We're celebrating his life. We're thinking about all the laughter he gave us, and there was a lot of laughter, wasn't there? We're sending all our love to his family during this incredibly tough time. They asked for privacy, and we should all respect that, but I hope they can feel the collective hug that the world is sending their way. George Wendt, a true original. We'll miss him, we really will. But we'll also keep his memory alive, always. Oh, Norm Peterson. Just saying the name brings a smile to your face, doesn't it? For 11 seasons, from 1982 to 1993, George Wendt Norm on Cheers. And what a character he was. Every time he walked into that bar, you knew you were in for a treat. The whole bar would shout Norm, and he'd have some witty comeback. He was the lovable, beer-drinking, joke-cracking regular who everyone could relate to. He was the ultimate bar buddy, the guy you wanted to pull up a stool next to. Norm wasn't just a character on a TV show, he was a cultural icon. He represented that comfortable, familiar feeling of belonging. He was the embodiment of a certain kind of laid-back, unpretentious charm. People loved Norm because he felt real. He had his ups and downs, his witty observations about life, and his unwavering loyalty to his favorite spot at the bar. George Wendt brought such authenticity to that role. He made Norm more than just lines on a page. He made him a friend to millions. Think about it, 11 seasons. That's a long time to play one character, and George did it with such consistency, such brilliance. He made it look effortless, but we all know that kind of comedic timing, that kind of audience connection, takes incredible skill. He wasn't just lucky, he was incredibly talented. He created a character that will live on forever. People will be watching Cheers reruns for generations to come, and they'll still be shouting Norm at their screens. That's impact, that's a legacy. And it wasn't just the catchphrase, it was the way he delivered his lines, the expressions on his face, the easy camaraderie he had with the rest of the cast. He was the heart of that bar in many ways, the reliable, funny, always there presence. George Wendt didn't just play Norm, he inhabited him, he understood him. And because of that, we all felt like we understood Norm too, and we loved him for it. What a character, what a performance, truly unforgettable. Now, George Wendt wasn't just a beloved actor to us, he was also a beloved family man, and he had a very famous nephew. You know him, you love him, JasonSudeikis. That's right, George was Jason's uncle, his mother Kathy's brother. Jason has shared some really wonderful stories about his Uncle George, and one of my favorites is about a car ride. A rather memorable car ride, it sounds like. It just paints such a vivid picture of their relationship, and George's fun-loving spirit. Jason told this story a few years back, I think it was at a roast for George. He talked about being a kid, and his Uncle George had just gotten a new manual BMW, fancy. So George is driving Jason and Jason's dad Dan through Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. Now if you've ever been to Laurel Canyon, you know those roads are windy, really windy. And back then, seatbelts in the back seat weren't always mandatory, or maybe they just weren't being used that day. Little Jason was sliding all over the place. Jason said his Uncle George knew those roads like the back of his hand, but he was driving in a way that, let's just say, made little Jason and his dad a bit nervous, maybe a little scared even. You can just imagine it, can't you? The new car, the winding roads, Uncle George having a grand old time behind the wheel. Jason remembered sliding around in the back, probably with wide eyes. It's one of those childhood memories that sticks with you. A little bit thrilling, a little bit terrifying, but ultimately a story you tell with a smile. It's such a sweet, funny image. It shows a different side of George. Not just Norm, the guy at the bar, but Uncle George, the guy who takes his nephew and brother-in-law for a spirited drive. It's a human moment, a family moment, and it's clear that Jason cherished those times with his uncle. These are the memories that become treasures, especially now. The laughter, the shared experiences, even the slightly nerve-wracking ones, they all add up to a life well lived and a bond that lasts forever. Beyond the fun car rides, George Wendt played a really important role in Jason Sudeikis' life, especially when it came to Jason's own career in comedy and acting. It's not always easy to pursue a dream like that. You need support, you need encouragement. And Jason has said that his Uncle George was always very encouraging. He didn't necessarily sit him down and give him lessons on comic timing or a step-by-step guide to Hollywood. That wasn't his style. Instead, George led by example. He showed Jason that being an actor, making a living doing what you love, was a real possibility. As Jason put it, his uncle served as a good example that being an actor was a viable option. Sometimes, that's the most powerful kind of inspiration. Just seeing someone you know and admire succeeding, making their way, it plants a seed. It makes you think, hey, maybe I can do that too. And look at Jason now. Clearly, that example meant a lot, and the pride was mutual. George was so incredibly proud of Jason. He talked about Jason's success, especially with Saturday Night Live. In an interview just last year, in 2024, George called Jason solid, smart, and thoughtful. Isn't that wonderful to hear? An uncle beaming about his nephew. He even recalled Jason joking on a talk show, maybe Letterman or Conan, about the career advice George had given him. Jason apparently joked that Uncle George's advice was to get on the best show on television and one of the greatest shows of all time and just pretty much take it from there. Classic. That little joke just sums up their relationship, doesn't it? Full of humor, respect, and genuine affection. George didn't need to give formal lessons. His career, his success with Cheers, was a masterclass in itself. He showed Jason what was possible. And he was there, cheering him on, every step of the way. That kind of quiet, steady encouragement can be the most powerful force in a young person's life. It's clear that Uncle George was a significant, positive influence for Jason. A true, guiding light. When you work so closely with people for so many years, like the cast of Cheers did, they become like family. They really do. And the tributes from George's Cheers co-stars have been so moving, so full of love. Ted Danson, who played the iconic Sam Malone, shared his feelings. And you can just hear the heartbreak in his words. He said he was devastated by the news. Absolutely devastated. It's clear their bond went far beyond the set. Ted sent his love to George's wife, Bernadette, and their children, which is just so thoughtful and kind. He said, "It is going to take me a long time to get used to this. I love you, Georgie." Oh, that just gets you, doesn't it? I love you, Georgie. So simple, so powerful. It speaks volumes about their friendship. For 11 seasons, Sam and Norm were fixtures at that bar. Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable. They played off each other brilliantly. But this is about a real, deep friendship. Imagine the years they spent together, the long hours on set, the rehearsals, the tapings, the shared laughter, the inside jokes. They saw each other through so much. They weren't just colleagues, they were partners in creating something truly special, something that brought joy to millions, and that kind of shared experience creates a bond that's hard to break. Even after the show ended, you can tell that connection remains strong. Ted's words are a testament to that enduring friendship. It's a reminder that behind the characters we love, there are real people, with real relationships, real affection. And when one of them is gone, the loss is profound. Not just for the fans, but for those who knew them best, who worked alongside them, who called them friend. Ted Danson's tribute is a beautiful, heartfelt expression of that loss, and a beautiful expression of love. I love you, Georgie. We're sending our love to you too, Ted. It's a sad time for the whole Cheers family. Section 6. The sweetest, kindest man, Rhea Perlman remembers. And it wasn't just Ted Danson. Rhea Perlman, who we all adored as the sharp-tongued, witty waitress Carla Tortelli, also shared her beautiful memories of George. Her words are just so warm, so full of affection. She described George as the sweetest, kindest man I ever met. Isn't that just lovely? the sweetest, kindest man. Coming from Rhea, whose character Carla could be so hilariously tough that really tells you something about George's true nature. It speaks volumes about the person he was off-screen. Rhea also fondly remembered their on-screen interactions, and who could forget them? Carla and Norm had such a great dynamic. Her sarcastic jabs, his good-natured responses, they were a classic comedic pairing. But Rhea's words highlight the warmth that was underneath all that on-screen banter. She didn't just remember the funny lines, she remembered the man, the kind heart, the gentle soul. It's clear he made a real impression on her, not just as a co-star but as a human being. The Cheers cast was so special. You could feel their chemistry through the screen. It felt like they genuinely liked each other. And these tributes, they confirmed that what we saw was real. There was a genuine camaraderie, a real bond. They weren't just acting like they were friends, they friends. Rhea Perlman's words paint a picture of a work environment that was supportive, fun, and filled with talented people who also happened to be incredibly decent human beings. George was clearly a big part of that positive atmosphere. When someone you've worked with so closely for so long, someone you admire and care for passes away, it leaves a huge void. Rhea's tribute is a beautiful reminder of the impact George had on the people around him, the sweetest, kindest man. That's a wonderful way to be remembered, isn't it? It tells you everything you need to know about his character. Beyond the fame, beyond the awards, he was, at his core, a good man. And that's what his friends, like Rhea, will cherish most. Section 7, Cheers to a Stellar Career, Accolades and Achievements. While we all know and love George Wendt as Norm Peterson, his career was so much more than just one iconic role. Though, let's be honest, playing a character that beloved for over a decade is an incredible achievement in itself. But George was a versatile and accomplished actor with a career that spanned theater, film, and television. He was a true craftsman. He honed his skills, he worked hard, and he earned the respect of his peers and the adoration of audiences. He was a true professional. Let's talk about Cheers for a moment, though, from an awards perspective. For his brilliant portrayal of Norm, George received 6 consecutive Emmy nominations. 6. That's outstanding. It shows the consistent excellence he brought to that role year after year. To be recognized by your peers in that way so consistently is a huge honor. It's a testament to his talent, his dedication, and the incredible comedic timing that made Norm so unforgettable. He made it look easy, but that level of performance is anything but. And his roots were in comedy. Strong roots. JasonSudeikis mentioned that he shared that fun BMW story at Second City's roast of George Wendt. Second City, that legendary improv and sketch comedy theater. So many comedy greats have come through Second City. That tells you something about George's comedic foundation. He understood comedy from the ground up. He knew how to find the humor, how to deliver a line, how to connect with an audience and make them laugh. It was in his bones. His career was filled with memorable performances, big and small. He had a presence that just lit up the screen. Whether he was the star or playing a supporting role, you noticed George Wendt. He brought a certain authenticity, a certain relatability to every character he played. Those Emmy nominations, the long run on Cheers, his work in theater, they all paint a picture of a dedicated, talented actor who loved his craft and gave it his all. We were so lucky to witness his talent for so many years. Truly lucky. Section 8, Beyond the Bar, a devoted family man and friend. While the world knew George Wendt as the affable Norm Peterson or as a talented actor, his family and friends knew him in an even more special way. The family's statement, released after his passing, really highlighted this. They described him as a doting family man, a well-loved friend and confidant. Isn't that just the most wonderful way to be remembered by those closest to you? It speaks to the heart of who he was when the cameras were off, when he was just George. A man who clearly cherished his loved ones. He was, as we know, JasonSudeikis' uncle, his mother Kathy's brother. Family was clearly important to him. The pride he had for Jason, the stories Jason shares about him, they all point to a man who was present, who was supportive, who was a real part of his family's life. Being a doting family man means he was affectionate, attentive, and deeply involved. Those are qualities that build a strong family, a loving family, and those are the memories his family will hold on to now. The everyday moments, the laughter, the love, and a well-loved friend and confidant. That tells you he was someone people could turn to, someone they trusted, someone whose company they enjoyed. In a world that can sometimes feel very isolating, having friends like that is a true gift. George was clearly that kind of friend to many. The tributes from Ted Danson and Rhea Perlman hint at this, but the family's statement confirms it. He wasn't just a funny guy, he was a good guy. A reliable guy, someone you wanted in your corner. It's so important to remember this side of public figures. We see the persona, the characters they play, but behind it all, there's a real person with a real life, real relationships. George Wendt was a star, yes, but he was also a husband, a father, to Bernadette and his children, an uncle, a brother, and a friend. And in those roles, it sounds like he shone just as brightly, if not more so, than he did on our television screens. He built a legacy of love and connection that will endure in the hearts of all who knew him personally. Section 9. The Laughter Lingers, George Wendt's Enduring Legacy. So, as we say goodbye to George Wendt, it's natural to feel sad. We've lost someone special, someone who felt like a part of our lives for so long. But even in sadness, there's so much to celebrate, so much to be grateful for. George left behind an incredible legacy, a legacy of laughter, a legacy of warmth, and a legacy of kindness. And those are things that never truly fade away. They live on, they continue to bring joy. Think about all the times he made us laugh, as Norm, with his perfectly timed entrances and his witty one-liners, or in his many other roles. That laughter is a gift. It's something he shared with the world, generously and consistently. And even now, when we watch reruns of Cheers or see him in a movie, that laughter will still be there. He'll still be making us smile. That's a powerful thing, to have brought that much happiness to so many people. It's truly remarkable. His family spoke of him as a doting family man and a well-loved friend. His co-stars remembered him as sweet, kind, and someone they loved. JasonSudeikis remembered him as an encouraging uncle who set a wonderful example. These personal tributes, they tell us about the man behind the actor, a man who clearly valued love, friendship, and family. And that part of his legacy, the love he shared and the kindness he showed, that's just as important as the laughter. It's the mark of a life well lived. George Wendt may be gone, but he will absolutely not be forgotten. His work will continue to entertain and delight for generations to come. The memories he created, both on screen and off, will be cherished. He showed us the joy of simple pleasures, the comfort of a familiar face, and the power of a good laugh. He taught us that sometimes, everybody knows your name, and that can be a wonderful thing. So thank you, George. Thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the memories. Your light will keep shining. It really will.